Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. As the title says, today we were talking about GHK and not just any GHK, GHK AKs and not just one, I have three. So first, this is gonna be the GHK AKM. We have the GHK AK74 and we have the GHK AK105. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so over the last couple months, I've gotten a lot of questions about my AKs. Mostly people who want to buy them. They are not for sale at the moment, but I've gotten a lot of people asking questions about my builds, you know, how much it costs to build out one of these, why I went with the parts that I went with, where I got some of my parts, and why I have three. So today I'm gonna do a very short walkthrough of all three of my builds. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the AK105. This is one of my favorites. When I purchased this, I got it with the paint job. It already had the B33 rail with the, I forget the model number, but the RIS rail on here. It also came with this grip and the current paint job was already on there. Start at the back, work our way forward. So here we have the Zenit PT3 style stock. This stock's really cool. I originally wasn't sure if this is what I wanted on this build, but I got a great deal on it and decided just to give it a try. And I actually really liked it. You still get to maintain your folding capabilities on the stock. You have a cheek riser here, as well as the stock also extends. Next is this pistol grip. Now, like I said, when I bought this gun, it came with this pistol grip already on here. I'm not 100% sure if this is the OEM one or if this is something the previous owner put on. I was gonna switch it out, but I actually really like this one and it matched the paint, so I didn't want to switch up that. Moving on, we have a Hephaestus steel trigger. I really like this style. Hephaestus makes, I think, 2 or 3 different types or style of trigger. I like this one with all the holes. It just kind of looks a little bit more dynamic to me, looks a little cooler. I have the Hephaestus magazine release extension, as well as the Hephaestus magwell. Right here we have the Hephaestus, I believe this is the type B selector, is a steel selector. So super cool. Moving on, right here we have the Zenit PT1 charging handle extender, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what they call it. I really like these. Again, I like the white trademarks on the black, but also I think this is just a really cool look to this, the AK's standard low profile charging handle. Right now I have a Hephaestus steel outer barrel installed on here. The aluminum barrels that come with GHK are very lightweight and they're very flimsy. This Hephaestus steel barrel is an absolute monster. It's heavy, it adds a lot of weight to the front of the gun, and that steel just looks really good. Up front here I have a Atlas PBS. I really like the Atlas PBS. It's very big. I have 2 other PBS suppressors and they're both about half the size of this one. This thing is ginormous, so a nice little showstopper. Additionally, up here, one thing I missed was this 7.62 LCAN. I wasn't originally gonna run this on here and I threw it on there to see what it looks like and I absolutely loved it, so it stayed on there. Moving on to the inside of the gun, I think that's everything for outside. I run WNS full travel and the WNS rapid fire kit. See the spring right there. I run all steel, Hephaestus steel internals. Right now, this is not a steel bolt. This is actually the OEM bolt. The reason why I still have this in here, I have the steel bolt, I just haven't installed it yet. And the reasoning is because with the steel bolts, you have to run the WNS hammer. The Hephaestus hammer won't work with the steel bolts for some reason, at least in my experience. Additionally, at the front, I run a Bowmaster feed ramp, and then I run all TNT internals beyond the feed ramp. So rubber, barrel, and hop up. I believe I run, in this one, it's the AK105 length inner barrel. So I believe it's the 275 or 320 millimeter. So yeah, this is the 105. The only thing I'd like to add to this in the future, like I said, is I'd like to get that steel bolt installed. And then beyond that, maybe add on some accessories to this rail out here. Maybe a purse or maybe just a flashlight. I'm not 100% sure yet, but that is the 105. As far as parts go, Rush B has been my best friend. If you like Rust 4 stuff, all my steel bolts came from Shooter Combat Gear. It's a Hong Kong based company. PBS came from, I believe, Airsoft GI. I bought this actual gun off of a guy on Discord. It was on the Heavy Recoil Club Discord. The steel barrels, however, came from Red Wolf. So, and then I picked up the L-Can from a swap meet. So yeah, I mean, everything is kind of pieced together from a lot of different places. So yeah, move on from that for now. Next gun we're gonna talk about is the AKM. This is the GHK AKM. I bought this from the same guy who I bought the 105 from. Originally, I was just gonna do kind of a traditional AK build on this, keep all the wood furniture, maybe do a GP30 grenade launcher, and then just rock out on the internals, making an absolute laser beam. But I saw this handguard and just couldn't really pass up on it. And neither one of the other guns, this handguard wouldn't have really fit with any of my other builds. So it had to be the AKM, but we'll go ahead and start back here. Right now, this is the traditional, the OEM GHK AKM stock. I am planning on doing an M4 buffer conversion on this, but it is really difficult because the AKM uses a fixed adapter. All the other GHK AKs use that folding stock system. It's not installed, but currently on the way, I have a Strike Industries it's a real steel AKM buffer converter, and then a real steel AR-15 buffer. Down here, I run the Zenit PK3 grip. This grip is by Assura Dynamics. I got this grip off of Bunny Workshop. Much like the 105, down here I run the Hephaestus steel trigger. I believe it's the Type B with the holes down the trigger. The Hephaestus extended magazine release, and then the Hephaestus magwell. Additionally, inside, I run all steel internals. And then in this one, I run the Bowmaster feed ramp with all TNT parts beyond the feed ramp. So your hop up, your rubber, and your barrel. I usually also run that PT1 charging handle extension on this. But for some reason on this specific charging handle, every time I shoot this gun in full auto, the PT1 just flies off. So I think I have to get extended screws or do a little bit of modification to make sure it's permanently on there. I also run Hephaestus steel selector on this gun, as well as the steel bolt. I also run a full travel kit, a WNS full travel kit with the WNS rapid fire kit in this as well. So moving forward, this red dot is probably not gonna be permanent. I do plan on getting a rail dust cover for this. Just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but once I get a rail dust cover, I'll probably run a little bit different optic. But for right now, I just kind of have this T1 kind of style replica red dot on there. This handguard is super sick. It's a KPYK reproduction. KPYK is actually a Ukrainian arms company, and they specialize, their most popular products are handguards and stocks. So I even thought about getting the KPY stock to match the handguard, but the KPY stock is like $350. So kind of decided against that for now, just because it's super expensive and I'd have to import it. So two no-nos, but this KPY handguard is super sick. I love it. It's full metal. It feels great. It's kind of a pain in the ass to install, but once you get it installed, it is super solid, no wiggle at all. And I absolutely love it. It does use the M-lock system on top and bottom and on the sides as well. I have just a simple hand stop on this gun. I plan on running maybe a PK, or was it the RK or PK6 grip, or maybe something just a little bit more high profile. But this is good for now. I love this, just very simple, low profile, does its job. I have an MOE rail segment on here for now. I usually run a flashlight on here, but I do plan on running a pursed eventually. I want to get a pursed 4, run it right here on top. There's an M-lock section right here on top. Plan on running that. And then I run the Hephaestus steel barrel on this as well. As I said, the Hephaestus steel outer barrels add so much weight. I mean, this thing just feels great. And once I get the stock system on there and everything like that worked out, this gun is gonna feel absolutely ridiculous. I do run a different kind of PBS. I don't know the names for the PBSs and what the style and everything is, but a little bit different style PBS. See if the tight camera can get a shot on that. Perfect. But yeah, I think that's just about it for this gun for now. This one is probably, out of all three, the furthest from being completed. I still have quite a few parts. Like I said, I'd like to get a pursed. I got to figure out the PK1 situation, or the PT1 situation. Rail, dust cover, stock, all that shit. Still a lot to be done here, but for the most part, all the internals are completely done. It's just external stuff that I'm kind of working on with this one. And for the third AK, we have the GHK AK-74. Now, this is probably my favorite. This one is the first build that I actually completed. The only thing that this thing is absolutely missing is a pursed 4 that I want to run on the front. Outside of that, in my eyes, this gun is completely built to my standards. At the rear here, we have the Zenit PT5 style stock. I knew when I was building this gun that this is the stock I absolutely wanted on this gun. I knew I wanted it on one of my guns, but I wasn't sure which one initially. This stock, if you don't know, extends, but it extends pretty much double the length. So it extends quite a bit. Super cool. It also has the adjustable cheek riser here. Super, super cool. And yeah, you still are able to utilize your folding stock capabilities as well. So super sick. I love this gun. I mean, this stock, super sick. And it's mostly metal, so it feels pretty good too. Much like the AKKM, here I am running a, keep messing it up, a PK3 style pistol grip. This is by Assura Dynamics, and I got this off Bunny Workshop as well. Oh, and for the stock, in case you guys are wondering, I believe I got this one off eVic. So, moving forward, additionally, third and final, Hephaestus tactical trigger. I believe it's the Type B. I run this on all 3 of my GHK AKs, as well as the extended magazine release by Hephaestus and Hephaestus Magwell. On this one, I run the Hephaestus steel selector, but this one is actually I believe it's the Type A. I can't 100% remember which one's Type B and Type A, but this one's a little bit more tactical. It has a little bit of a cut here. It's a little bit different. I like this one a lot more, but unfortunately I can only find one of them. They're kind of difficult to find. I run just a standard AK optics mount on this. I can't remember what brand it is. I've had it forever. And that's just what I run. And then right now I have a replica AKKM on here. So nothing super crazy there. I just like the way AKKM looks on here. I think the shape and all the curves and edges of the AKKM kind of complement this gun in a way. So yeah, that's the way I keep it. Additionally, I run the PT1 extended magazine or extended charging handle on this gun as well. Up front here, we have the Hephaestus M-LOK handguard with railed gas tube. I knew from the very beginning, this is exactly how I wanted my front end assembly to be set up. So it was one of the first purchases I made. Very solid, very nice, pretty easy to install. Right here, I run the PK6 grip. I knew I wanted a grip on this one as well when I was building it, but I wanted something very low profile. And I also just like this sharp edge on it. Really, really nice. And then I run a PBS on here as well. I also run the Hephaestus steel outer barrel on this as well. So there's a lot of weight. Everything on the front end here is metal, and there's a lot of weight on the front. The only other things I'd like to put externally on this gun, I'd like to run a pursed, and that is something I'm working on. Now going inside, let's go ahead and see if we can sign this off. Boom. So I run the WNS full travel, but this is also the simulated recoil buffer. So it's got these 2 little rods in there that kind of move back and forth. I also run a rapid fire kit on here as well. Again, I run all steel internals in here. I also run the steel bolt. I run Bowmaster feed ramp in here. I believe in this one, I run a Bowmaster hop up. And then I believe I do have a TNT barrel in here as well. So kind of mix match internals there. I was really kind of experimenting with a lot of stuff when I first, because this was the first GHK AK that I built. So I was really experimenting with a lot of stuff when I first got this. I had a couple guillotine hop ups that I tried Bowmaster, tried Maple Leaf, all that kind of stuff. But I kind of landed on this combination, and I really like the Bowmaster feed ramps. So I run the Bowmaster feed ramps on all 3 of my AKs. But yeah, I believe that is it for this gun as well. Most of the parts for this one I actually got third party. There was a couple people on Discord that hooked me up with some parts. I got this, I believe the rail system, the gas tube I got from Red Wolf, and then I believe the actual bottom rail I got from Discord. PK6 I got from, I believe I got that one from Airsoft GI. PBS from eVic, stock from eVic. This came from Bunny Workshop. And then all of this Hephaestus stuff, the magazine release, the magwell, and the trigger all came from Rush B. AKKM I've had for a long time, optics mount I've had for a long time, and then all of the internals came from Rush B as well. Steel bolt for this one I got from, I believe, Shooter Combat Gear, Hong Kong company, as I mentioned earlier. And then the rapid fire kits all came from Shooter Combat Gear as well. I've had an absolute great time building these AKs. I've never really been much of an AK fan, and when I started building these, I fell in love with them. GHK AKs, there's so many options out there for parts, for stocks and rail systems. There really is no limit to what you can do with these GHK AKs. There's only 3 other GHK AK style guns that I want outside of these 3. I would love to have a Groza, who wouldn't? I'd love to have the RPK, and then I would absolutely love to have the AMD 65. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, on the AKKM and the 105, I also run the steel recoil rods. So in the front of the bolt, you just have a kind of like a piston looking piece, and I run steel rods, so it adds a little bit more weight, adds a little bit more kick to it. Yeah guys, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would do a firing test on these, but I am saving the firing tests for a special video that I'm doing, so no shooting these today. But I just wanted to kind of address a couple questions that I've gotten, and people have really been wanting to see the GHK build. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.